Hey, what is up, guys? Flex Media here, bringing you yet another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. So, I was, kind of debating on what I was going to do here when I was making a video for the day, and I just decided, I'm like, you know what, bro? You haven't gone into the Infinite Dragon Ball History event on camera yet. And I thought that would be a good place to kind of show off this TEQ Golden Frieza. So we're still kind of on this TEQ Golden Frieza kick. Now I know that his EZA has kind of come and went in a sense. Like most of us probably have it done. We've already probably spent the stones, unless of course you're really, really smart and you're saving them. And I say that in jest. Most of us. I guess I should speak for myself here, but I think most of us are probably pretty bad at saving stones. But I know for sure I am. So anyway, so this is our boy TEQ Golden Frieza. So he's got a good team. I decided to run kind of a combo of full power and movie bosses. And actually, what you'll find is a lot of the movie bosses are also on the full power category. So it just kind of, works out that way. And really the only exception, I think, is this Frieza right here. So, anyway, let's go to TEQ Golden Frieza real quick. I've gone over his passive in other videos. So if you need to know more about it, go ahead and check those videos out. But basically, he's really good. He gets 80% damage reduction and 80% attack when his HP is 50% or above. And when his HP drops below 50%, he then gets only 50% damage reduction and an additional 50% attack, so 130% attack. So he's very, very good, guys. Very good. And you guys are going to find out here that he's, really, really good. He's going to be good in any event you take him into, particularly if you don't let your health fall that far. Now, in an event like this, it's kind of challenging to just not have your HP ever fall below 50%. I mean, it's just, it's hard to do, right? Especially when you're dealing with a lot of type disadvantage, which you'll notice at the end of this video, we're dealing with a fair amount of type disadvantage. There's 2 STR units right in a row. So anywho, particularly before he falls below 50% HP, he literally just cannot be damaged. He's just impervious to damage. So he fits in well on any single team you bring him on. Now his linking buddy, he's got a few linking buddies. He doesn't have one particular best linking buddy, I suppose. I suppose the best one is probably Fizz Cooler, which, as hard as it might be to believe, I do not own one single copy of him. So obviously I could not run him on this event, right? But even still, like, no team you can really run him on offers the Super God Combat Link, which is a 15% attack link, which is a significant attack link. I mean, it's as much as Fierce Battle or what have you, So it is relevant. But I chose his linking partner today for at least the majority of the video to be the TEQ Transforming Frieza. Now, he's a very interesting unit, very good unit still to this day. So he heals every time he comes onto rotation. He starts at 11% healing in his first form. And by the time he gets into his final golden form, that's when he's healing 15% every time he comes onto the field. And when he gets his golden transformation, he actually gets Ki plus 12 and a guaranteed critical hit, which is, really, really nice. It's, similar to what the transforming Goku does, the original transforming Goku, that is. So, and we ain't talking about Turles. But anyway. Yeah. So his counterpart, obviously. Anyway, so the TEQ transforming Frieza is obviously really handy on an event like this. Him being able to heal, he actually mitigates damage. He's just really solid. He actually stacks attack and defense up to his golden form. So in his golden form, he no longer stacks attack and defense. That being said, like, I wish, so when you guys may or may not know, but this is not my first global account. So when I got this account after a stone vendor lost my account, they purchased me a new one. So, like, kind of one of those situations, is what it is. They fucked up. They made it right. They gave me like basically a big time whale account, which is, similar to what I had. Maybe even a little bit better. But anyway, I didn't have an opportunity to actually build a lot of my units. And on units that stack attack and defense, I actually prefer to give them a little bit more additional. Now, I don't go crazy. I don't go full additional because you still want the potential to crit. You want a good chance to crit. But I think if I ever get enough dupes to rainbow him out and then also get more dupes, I think I would change maybe one or two of his skills to add more additional. So maybe I'd make him with like 11 additional or maybe 9 additional, something like that. Something close to that. Just so he could additional a little bit more and stack up his attack and defense before he actually gets to his golden form. Because if you do not get him at least 1 or 2 additional supers, believe it or not, he actually becomes kind of a defensive liability. Now, it's really, as I mentioned, really helpful that he heals. But in this difficult content, which, Infinite Dragon Ball history is not overly difficult, but like especially like in the Legendary Goku and Super Battle Road, it's really handy to get him additionals. Okay, I'll just say that. But let's kind of move on to the rest of the team here. So I believe he'll be on screen next, but it's just kind of a funny story, kind of a short story, I suppose. But I was summoning for the girls. I did one summoning video, and I just decided, you know what, I'm not going in like on this banner. I'm not wailing out. The hype, yeah, I wanted them, of course, like, but the hype is just gone, and that falls on the shoulders of Bandai and Akatsuki for waiting as long as they waited. This game is very cyclical, so I do understand sort of the release of their LRs and stuff, but this is just, it's something interesting to point out. Like the difference between, I'm trying to remember the exact timeline, but I believe JP got Kale and Caulifla before they even got full power Frieza. Yeah, I'm almost certain. So they got their Kale and Caulifla, and then they went right into the Namek Goku stuff, if I'm not mistaken. And then they got full power Frieza. So, the fact that we get full power Frieza and we still have to wait 3 months, before we get Kale and Caulifla, like I said, just the hype is gone. So anyway, that's a bit of an aside there, but we'll just continue on. So this full power Frieza, I was summoning for the girls, and I did a couple off-camera summons. I did maybe another 150, 200 stones, something like that. And I just randomly I pulled like 3 or 4 LRs in a row. And I ended up rainbowing out Majin Vegeta. I got a 3rd dupe in my LR Bardock, and I pulled this guy. And I was like, what in the hell happened? Like, I just randomly pulled the full power Frieza. It was really exciting. I feel like he's one of the more, sort of one of the more rare units in Dokkan, because on JP and Global alike, unless you were basically the homie Goresh and you really like Frieza, basically no one summoned on that banner. It wasn't worth it because we were about to get Trunks and Zamasu. So no one summoned on that banner, or very few did, or maybe you ripped one multi or something just to test your luck. On his banner, I pulled my first LR baby, so that was really nice too. Anyway, but that guy, he's so good. He's really, really good. Now, the problem with him is for him to be at his maximum potential. So, number one, you want him to be linked up with someone who has big bad bosses, which is not hard to do on this full power team. Actually, just with the units I selected, there weren't a ton of units with big bad bosses. The TEQ Transforming Frieza has it, but not a ton of these units have it, which I sort of came to regret later. I wish I would have put more units on there with big bad bosses, but yeah, hey, no big deal. We ended up, spoiler alert, but we did get the W. But when he gets below 30% HP, he gets an additional, on top of his 80% attack and defense, so he's getting an additional 70% attack and 9 ki. So I believe you will see that one time or maybe 2 times during this little run here. So, and if you get him linked up, with someone with big bad bosses, I mean, he's pushing a 4, close to a 5 million attack stat with no dupes. I mean, it's bonkers, right? And he gets a guaranteed crit as well. So that's really, really nice. But anyway, so he's a really good unit. I'm really happy to have him. Like I said, just one of the more rare units in Dokkan. You just don't see too many of them. Anyway, so the rest of the team. So those were kind of the, we'll just say, those are the kind of the Wicked Bloodline category allies I had. Now, let's take a look at this guy, this Int Cell. So I brought Int Cell, and basically the main reason I bring him, well, there's a couple reasons, I guess, but the one reason is he's quite good defensively. Quite good defensively. He's probably one of the better Super Battle Road options you can choose. Now, he doesn't stack attack or defense or anything like that, but he's just very stout defensively. He's got a high defensive stat and actually kind of a low defensive stat, or I'm sorry, a low offensive stat. For a Dokkan Fest LR, I believe the lowest of any Dokkan Fest LR. I think kind of by a mile. I don't think he even breaks 20,000, which is pretty unusual for a high-level LR. But again, defensively, he's just a juggernaut, man. I mean, you get him, I believe, on his passive. If you get him 8 orbs, he's indestructible. And he'll push, if you get him a 24 key super, again, with 0 dupes, he'll push a 4 million attack stat. So which you will see once in this video. So, stick around for it. He just hits like a boss, dude. But the main reason I bring him is if we do get fucked up one round and we fall below 30% HP, bam, he heals us back to full. It's the same as getting a Sensu Bean. And it actually, him healing like that, it actually brings me back to a point I made in my last sort of showcase of TEQ Golden Frieza of this, these things that occur in the game and the order in which they occur. So think of Magic the Gathering, of quote unquote on the stack, when there's damage on the stack, or you play a card on the stack. So when you play, for instance, when you play an instant in Magic the Gathering, it actually occurs before your opponent, say, attacks with his creature. You know what I mean? That's something like that. So when Cell heals, or the same in a Dokkan attack, it actually occurs before the turn, or I'm sorry, right after the turn. Okay, so a Dokkan attack is before the turn starts. And then a heal from Cell is after the turn starts. So just kind of an interesting, sort of, it's just interesting because, for a unit like TEQ Golden Frieza, that makes a huge difference of how his card is used. So when he, if you get that big heal before the turn starts, well, then all of a sudden he's got his 80% damage reduction. But if it occurs after the heal, or I'm sorry, let me run that back. So if the heal occurs before the turn starts, then he gets his big damage reduction. But if it occurs after, he gets his big attack boost. So you're gonna play him in a different way. So again, it's something important to know, right? I didn't mean to go on too long of a tangent there. Sorry, sorry about that. But we can kind of move on from Cell. He's very powerful. He just happens to be probably the weakest Dokkan Fest LR, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He's just maybe a little poorly designed with that. Getting below 30% is just so hard to do. Anyway, let's move on here. So you can see we have DBS and DBZ Broly. So let's go ahead and start with DBZ Broly. So he stacks his attack and defense infinitely. And he actually stacks his crit. So he stacks his crit 2% every single time he attacks. Well, super attacks, that is. But for him, that's not hard at all because he auto supers essentially. If you get him one key link, so I believe he is a prepared for battle unit, which he's going to share with this DBS Broly. So if you get him, he's going to auto super because he supers at 8 key, which makes him so handy. You don't have to get him, 3 or 4 orbs or even same type orbs to get him to super. So it's very helpful when you have him on your team. Not to mention, again, he infinitely stacks defense, which on these long events is quite useful. So he's good. His EZA kind of came at a weird time. I believe we got him only 3 months. Again, you guys go ahead in the comments, go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe 3 months after JP got him. And then it was like, but, again, we still don't have STR Cell. We just got TEQ Golden Frieza this month. It's like, sometimes I just don't understand, like, their thought process. I guess I'll never pretend to understand because, like, at a certain point, you just, I guess they just figure we shouldn't worry our little minds about that. You just leave it to, Daddy Akatsuki and Daddy Bandai. We'll take care of you guys. And sometimes just it seems as though they're so tone deaf. And like again, like the hype with TEQ Golden Frieza, like I love this unit. He's one of my favorites. He just took 17k on a super attack, in a challenging event. I mean, he's just so damn good, right? But it's like, again, it's like the hype was kind of gone because, like, it's like, god damn, like I can beat every event in the game without him. So it just comes into this thing that we talked about the last video, like this power creep thing. Like, when are they going to start adding more difficult content? So I've yet to try out the new stages of Infinite Dragon Ball history on the JP side of the game. Mostly because my JP account is kind of weak. I do have a rainbowed STR Cooler. He was so good, guys. I had to summon for him. So I bought a real cheap account. I think like a $9 account or something from Ultra Dokkan discount. And I rainbowed him, I think, in actually a very reasonable amount of stones. I think like 2,000 stones or something like that. And he's just so good. So good, right? Anyway, he's a unit that needs a video all his own. But when he comes to global, I'll show him off, right? So anyway, we were kind of getting a little sidetracked there. Let's get back on the task at hand. Bandai and Akatsuki, yeah, we know they're tone deaf sometimes. They think they know what's best for us, kind of like, Apple. They think they know what we want. They it's just, or whatever. I don't have an Apple, but they always seem to be trying to make unnecessary changes and such. But anyway, let's move on. So the last unit I think we have yet to mention is this DBS Broly, who, in my opinion, on any single team you can run him on, he is probably the best floating unit in the entire game. And the reason for that is, hold on one sec. Here's this beautiful transformation. This is what makes him so fucking good, dude, is this full heal, and he just becomes, as I said, just almost indestructible, guy. He's just so powerful, so powerful. So anyway, so this DBS Broly, the best floating unit in the entire game, and the reason for this is because he has, number one, in his transform state, he gives himself 9 ki. Like, just right off the bat, he gets ki plus 9. And it's just like, okay, it's a little unnecessary. If you're running a double leader skill, you would never need 9 ki. You know, the maximum you would need usually is 6. And then the other part about it is you never have to worry. So you never have to worry about him supering. And he also has prepared for battle and shocking speed. So a lot of units that are not Saiyan units, they have shocking speed. So for instance, TEQ Golden Frieza, shocking speed. The TEQ Transforming Frieza, he gets shocking speed, I believe, starting in his 3rd form. I'm pretty sure. And then starting in his final form, he gets prodigies as well. Instead of what? Oh, I can't think of it right now. But he actually gains prodigies, which is really nice. So again, so he's just the best floating unit in the entire game, in my opinion. Somehow, even in the short amount of time I've had this account, that the Fizz Broly, I have not pulled one single copy of. Like you see, I have him, but I've not pulled one single dupe, which really makes this Broly hard to use, to be quite honest. But you know, he's got a good leader skill, so that's why I use him. But this is the rainbowed one, and he can perform crits, which I get horribly unlucky with crits with him. It sucks so bad, especially at these last couple phases. This one was int, so obviously he's, you know, doing some fucking work, right? But those previous STR phases, man, we got completely, you know, shafted in the RNG department. But guys, that's basically the long and the short of it. I know we just kind of went on some tangents there. I do have to say, so this upcoming rotation here, yeah, so watch this. Whoa! Almost 400k on the super, and somehow, some way we survive. And you know, basically by the grace of the RN gods, we made it, right? So, and we get this beautiful active skill from Cell. Still my favorite active skill in the entire game, more than anyone on JP or Global or whatever. You know, shout out to all those units with great active skills. You know, STR Cooler. You know, that he's got that great transformation under the waterfall and stuff. Namek Goku, he's got a great transformation. I mean, geez, TEQ Broly. I mean, there's so many good ones, but of all those units, I prefer Cells the most. I love, it's just such a clean art, even more than AGL LR Gohan. And I do want to show you guys, I know this showcase is about TEQ Golden Frieza. Now, TEQ Golden Frieza is going to get actually over at least, I think it's close to a 2 million attack stat. Unsupported, that's about where he gets, which is very good. Very, very good for a very old unit that they easy ate, you know. But, so this LR Cell, he absolutely just completely roasts this, this Int Gohan, man. And it's honestly, it's very, very fitting. So look at this, 3.6 milli from, again, this unit I just mentioned that really struggles hitting those big attack stats. And he gets the dodge. It's just like all of a sudden he was just like, oh, you mean this is my showcase? So he was really, really showing out there. You know, so that's super good. That's not quite the height of what he can get. You know, obviously that was no support on rotation, and getting him there is not easy. You know, getting him a full 24 key. You know, with, you know, basically wedged in between 2 support units. It's, you know, again, it's just hard to do. It's such a crying shame also. So he actually, when he transforms, he gets revival, which is, you know, it's really nice, of course, but dude, his TUR has shocking speed. Why does he not have shocking speed? I know that this is a very old topic, so like, you know, call me a boomer or whatever, but it's just like, why? Why does he not have it? It's just the goofiest fucking thing in the world. But I do believe DBZ Broly is going to finish off this Gohan. But there you have it, guys. The Infinite Dragon Ball history officially beaten on camera. And you guys can see TEQ Golden Frieza is just dominant in whatever event he's in. It doesn't matter. So leave a like on my content if you enjoy it, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Later.